Hello, IDV YouTubers.
GSL is made up of a range of former and current high tiers, and we thought it was beneficial to the rest of the IDV community to know how to support efficiently.
You may have seen us in rank or quick matches, whether it be for hunting or survivor. We are a competitive team for this NAEU server. Um, just a bit of an introduction for this video, as you've seen for the title. This is a guide on how to support your teammates, whether it's for quick match or ranking, whether they are the randoms or whether you are the random playing into a 2-man or a 3-man team comp with other people. This guide is to give our opinion on the most effective way to get to improve the overall ranking experience for everyone in the server. Because I think we can all agree that NAEU isn't the most competitive of the servers. We hope that with this video, the intention is that everyone gets to learn from this, and everyone gets to improve their skills overall. That being said, please subscribe to the channel, give a like if you like the video. Of course, 100% write your questions in the comment section. We'll do our best to answer them as objectively as possible, although please try to bear with us that we can't really answer every question for every scenario. We hope that this is more of a general guideline on how to support your ranked randoms, when you should support your rank randoms, and hopefully we can get everyone to drawing and winning more often. This guide will mainly focus on characters that excel at assisting, as is the name of the video, the guide. However, it will bleed into some other characters and other roles that can assist just as well, and we'll try to demonstrate their niche, their niche roles in terms of assisting as best as we can. I'm going to get into the characters that we feel are the best for assisting now, as well as just all the characters that we're going to try and cover in the bulk of this video. Once again, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are going to try to make a podcast, or maybe not so much as a podcast, but just a video where we go over questions, a Q&A, hopefully weekly. We do also want to put out some more videos showing our gameplay and giving our own commentary as well in the future, so that once again everyone can try to learn and also improve their overall skills as well. In the group of assisting, we do see that there is Seer, Barmaid, Priestess, Forward, Dancer, Postman, Psychologist, Toy Merchant, Entomologist, Cowboy, Wildling, Enchantress, Painter, Batter, Novelist, Little Girl, Weeping Clown, Evil Reptilian. These are all characters that excel really well at assisting. In terms of which is the best out of this category, it's really hard to say. That would be more of a tier list, which is not the focus of the video. However, Priestess, Forward, and Seer out of this entire category are probably the top 3. There are outliers that can assist in their own way, although it's not really preferred that they do this, but Doctor can assist by body blocking and healing. We wouldn't really recommend that, because at the end of the day, the whole purpose of assisting is to get the cipher machines popped. And if you're busy body blocking for 40-50 seconds and following the kite, that's not going to benefit the overall team, because if you're wasting time body blocking for someone who's in a strong kiting area, you're not decoding, and that's going to slow down the overall cipher rush. Okay, I cannot impress enough that at the end of the day, survivors can kite for 220 seconds. They can kite for 300 seconds. They can play forward and stun the hunter 4 or 5 times. It means nothing if the ciphers are not decoded. It means nothing if the ciphers are not decoded. Your job is to buy time for the ciphers to decode. If no one is decoding, then all your harassment and your kiting basically goes to waste. Okay. So when you're assisting someone, try to be conscious of how many ciphers are left. Try to take up or pick up other people's ciphers. Try to pay attention to how many ciphers are being worked on so that you know just how long you really need to harass for. Sometimes one stun, roughly 20 seconds of time, is perfectly enough, and then you can let the person who's kiting get chaired, wait until 45% of the chair time, rescue. They do their kite, maybe they have tide turner, that's another 20 seconds. They get chaired again, maybe you do one more stun, and then you rescue at 95% again. And that maybe sometimes that's enough. Maybe you don't have to do 3, 4, 5 stuns, or maybe you don't have to put down all 3 portals, or etc, etc. Okay. All right, on to the next group of people that can assist well. Those would be a couple of these characters here, being forward, coordinator, wildling, batter, and merc. Merc is a little bit niche. It's a bit niche, but he does have some assisting that he can give to some characters, and we'll get into that later, of course. So we do have the decoding category as well. Much less, as you can see, characters here. Prisoner can give a shock. He recently got buffed, so he can give a shock every 45 or so seconds, I believe it is. He can shock. He can do a little bit of his harassment to buy a little bit of time. I do have to preface greatly, that just because you are playing prisoner does not mean you are the same as a forward. You can stun once. You can do one stun, but you are not the same as a forward, so please do not play aggressively with prisoner. Your main objective is to decode the cipher machines, okay? But if someone's dead on chair and the ciphers are 70 and someone's co-op decoding it with you, you can pull off the cipher, go try to find where the kite's happening, and then if the kiter does go down before the cipher can get popped, you can hopefully do your one stun. That's enough time for the cipher machine to be primed, and then the cipher pops, and then you guys can hopefully get a 3-man out, or maybe a draw, whatever the case may be. If maybe it's a psychologist who still has stress, and you give a shock, maybe that's another also opportunity where you can give your a stun to try and help out. It's important to mention though that these characters, these decoding characters, are heavily skewed towards decoding. They have little to no strength for kiting, prisoner being the best out of all of them, maybe with lawyer right after that. But my point is that if you're playing prisoner and you give your shock, but it's in the middle of nowhere, now you're in trouble. Now you're putting yourself in danger. Okay, you're putting yourself in danger because now the hunter could maybe switch to you, and you don't have your shock anymore because you used it to rescue someone else. Okay. All right, let's get into the guide portion of the video. We will be starting from the most meta, working our way down the line to the least meta. So we'll typically be starting forward, Priestess, Seer, Barmaid, Ento, so on and so forth, until we finally work our way down to some of the more niche support like Painter, Embalmer, Postman, and the like. We do have a couple bonus clips towards the end, so please stay for that. If you are confused by what meta means, that means the most effective tactic available. So these are typically characters that you'll be seeing played professional gameplay, like IVL, Koa, IJL. They are typically preferred over the more non-meta, the not as effective for winning or drawing scenarios. Please keep in mind that all characters on balance are decent. However, there are some that excel at doing things better. Some of the plays that you see have a higher chance of success if you work with teammates that are in voice call. We use Discord, at least my team used Discord to help us coordinate efficiently. So if you're struggling or wondering how we're able to coordinate so well, that is also the case. We are using Discord to make that happen. It is a free app. If you're interested in doing that, you can join our server. We have voice channels where that you can use, and you can team up with some of your friends. So please feel free to join our server. We also try to have decent discussions of IVL, COA, IJL, and just overall have a good time. All right, I think that about covers it. So let's get into it. Here we have our forward using about 25% ball. These medium level stuns allow for the Acrobat to transition freely so that he doesn't otherwise get hit. Please note that while doing this, the forward is out of frame, coming in from around a corner, or when the hunter is locked in an animation. That animation can be a pallet break animation, an attack animation, or simply just a window vaulting animation. Since the forward stunned right there, the Nightmare is now forced at this point to go switch targets. Here we have in another clip, the forward's going to do a bit of an anticipation stun, where he's going to anticipate the stopping of the tram. He's going to start his ball early. He's going to knock the vial into the tram, and then that's going to allow for the mechanic to make a quick escape yet again.
And Kuchau's just going to go right back to factory. Forward getting healed from the Psychs. Pisha doing amazing. And beautiful stun from the forward right there. The clerk had no time to react. Zero. You can't do anything about that. That was a beautiful stun. Now the clerk is going to have to probably switch targets again. The dancer now gets out of factory and heads to shit corner. And now
here we have another stun coming from the forward. The Acrobat here is going to make his way to the boxes. And then this is just a nice little clip that I thought I'd add. Just to compound that the long ball does really help transitioning. As we see, the attack animation from the ball is extended even longer from the dancer. Unfortunately, it doesn't extend the stun, but it gave the forward extra time so that he could even use more ball to stun longer. And then there's the added reduction of movement right there. Next up is Priestess. This is a fairly obvious one, but we still have to cover it because there might be some things you aren't aware of. Priestess, basically, she can portal through walls and allow people to take them, which can allow them to cross this distance. This is more focused on her kiting, how she helps people kite by moving them from one kiting area to another. As you can see here, the dancer started at cabin 4 and then transitioned to corner house using the portals and was able to set up boxes here. Like, this is basically how Priestess works. You typically want to use your portals if you see them. If you see portals, always take them, because even if it's a short portal, the hunter will get stunned. And you can also set this up with other support, like Barmaid, like forward, like Prospector stuns, Barmaid bottles, and Aquarian as well. You do want to be taking into consideration Desperate Fight, because some hunters like to bring it to counter Priestess and with a little bit of rage as well. But taking the portals will always benefit you. And you definitely, if you can see a portal and if you can think you can get there, always try to plan your kiting route around portals. Here we just have some brief clips showing how they use Priestess to get from somewhat bad areas to better areas, and in this case it allowed the Barmaid to get healed. And over in the next clip we have forward also being stuck in a bad area, using the Priestess portal, and then being able to get all the way to a hotel on Chinatown. At the beginning of each game, Seer can see what the hunter is and where the hunter is going, and this is very important because with this you can tell your teammates, if you're in a voice call using Discord, where the hunter is going and what that hunter is. Depending on what the hunter is can change how survivors kite, and like wax artists you want to use high walls, and with Bonbon you want a transitional kite. Every bit of information can help a kite in the long run, so it's very important to note that. So if you're playing solo queue with Seer, using pings in the beginning of the game can give a lot of information for your teammates. Use Don't Rescue Me for chip hunters, and Hunter has changed targets for jump scare hunters like Dream Witch and Blood Queen and Wu Chang. Here I'm just briefly showing that Seer can spectate any survivor on the map with a 20-second cooldown, and then he can also give his owl to them to block an instant of damage, which can be
でしたね。
useful.
はい、爆弾で壊していくことができました。
はい。 いやー、かなりスムーズに壊していくことができましたね。
爆弾で
そして連鎖当てて通常攻撃。
使い鳥でダメージ防いでいき
Here's just another brief clip showing Seer's strength as he instantly gives an owl for the mark here. For Enso, her support is basically that she can block the hunter's routing, which can then slow them down and give time for survivors to run away. Typically, this works better in narrow passageways. However, you can use it to support off-chair rescuing, where the hunter is an attacker animation, and like so, and the bees can push them. And then that can give a lot of distance because the hunter he's going the opposite way while the survivors are going away. And then here you have a clip where the barmaid is going to be passing around this corner here. Then the Anne is going to follow suit, and the bees appear, and then they kind of trap the Anne in there, and then the Anne can't move, and that allows the barmaid to get enough time to transition.
里吹，但是讲道理，我觉得这一刀有点亏啊。下板，草哥，哎，下到了东玄啊，东玄细呀，东玄是知道你要下这个板，所以说我第一时间利用母体移到了这个板外面。但是重勋这个重勋是过来了，哇，这里边直接帮草哥卡到2口狗，草哥这边。
Psych's whistling is primarily used for rescuers because after they're done rescuing, they won't be chased by the hunter, since her healing does take 7 seconds to complete. But as you can see, she's going to whistle me, and I will be full health after 7 seconds, and then I can go rescue again.
能不能翻吧？是，前锋交互很快呀，感觉甚至都没有打隔窗刀的机会。第二条狗也卡掉了，东山这边陷入一点迷茫，但是库草手里球也没有，这样的空间的话，其实先拉超脱，那再补寄生吧。对，再补寄生，那这样的话时间拖出来，看一下密码机啊，马上就要冲到3台去了。这样的话，你本体狗吹了，利用这个间隙吹起来了。机器现在是真的会打女巫了，对，真的会打了。那东玄这边的选择其实也有点头铁啊，他选择这个最不好追的前锋。是的，因为中场见谁追，你看其他人，病患是昆虫，心里其实要说好追也都没那么对，而且枯草思路太清楚了，我眼里没有你这个寄生，我寄生刀我就硬给，我反正能吹起来。然后下一波的话，如果拉开距离还有机会的话，我再吹一波。没错，这个思路很清晰啊。那看一下，已经是又补掉一个，重群又来了，又过来帮忙了。不要忘了上个赛季的18是绝活的什么玩家？又在吹了，过来这边。 吹走之后直接吹起来，哇！这一吹把心理学家对于梦之女巫。
So here we have another character that I main, Barmaid. Barmaid is a great character for assisting people who are injured during a kite. Psychologist is usually for after a kite or after a rescue when the hunter has left them. So here I'm telling my teammate, the Entomologist, to run towards a hotel so that when she gets hit right there, I can give her the bird the bottle the bottle, and as I do so there, she crouches to cancel the drinking animation, and then she's gonna go automatically to the hotel, and then she just has to avoid this blink, which she does by putting her beast down, and now she'll be fully healed. There's nothing the clerk can do to stop that. And then meanwhile, I'm going to mix another bottle and then prepare and then go right back to decoding, and that is how you can briefly assist as Barmaid. Okay, this is still the same match where the Entomologist is injured from the last hit that you just saw. And I told the Entomologist, and now my new cipher, to come to this pallet here. I'm going to bottle her. She's going to crouch immediately to cancel the attack recovery. And now I just need to prevent the clerk from getting to her, which I do with that pallet stun. At this point, there's too much distance for the clerk to catch her. So she's basically healed. And now she's forced to switch to me. And now I have the kite.
Right now, under the butterfly dash, playing no mind games, going through immediately. The Priestess has one more portal that goes straight towards the Barmaid. Barmaid, is there Dublin? Dublin towards the Barmaid right now. Barmaid has to body block for this one though, even though Priestess has flywheel as well. But right here,
this one is a little bit complicated to see just because the hunter isn't really looking at the action. However, you see the forward take the portal, and then he's going to go right to that Barmaid, and then you can look at his icon, and now you have a drinking icon. Okay, I won't lie here, I probably should have been terror shocked, but I wasn't. So anyways, Acrobat support is basically that his bombs can put a status effect on the hunter that will either remove abilities, slow them down, and you can use this ability to help survivors by
directly throwing them on them, since if it's thrown on the hunter, then the status effect will be more detrimental to the hunter.
仔仔的杂技很快就贴过来了，已经。
看要不要帮忙 OB 一下？
这个动作这要难道
想让他减慢一下交互。哇，这个挂人真的好慢。
这个是真的是我节奏好，我真的是大胆的去扣球，好吧？
而且命中率还很高。
因为你是定点嘛，定点这个真的在
上了呀。
无解，你必须要变人。
对你变人就一定要给个实体刀。
对，
又给你扣个土球，
又在你头上暴扣，仔仔，我的天哪！今天这个仔仔也化成起脸流了。
那这密码机是肯定可以压好了。
已经压好了，那甚至可以贴门了，我觉得。
先知的鸟已经吸出来，他都在吸第4只了。
坏了！
这开门战，
这一刀带走，极亮
又给你
头上暴扣，连变都不让你变，我的天哪！仔仔今天，
仔仔这把直接暴扣小子，
仔仔今天是在你头上连扣3个球，侵略性极强呀，我的天！
那我们看阿策他的鸟第4只马上也要出来了呀，锁压进度条2只鸟，
对，坏了，直接给鸟。
Dancer's a fairly simple support character. She's simply gonna just put her music boxes down, and then your kiter is going to kite towards them. In doing so, if the hunter breaks a pallet, which hopefully the boxes are in a pallet where like it would take more time for the hunter to avoid, it gives the kiter more time to transition. And as you can see, the kiter made their way all the way from cabin 4 all the way to graveyard. For this one here, the Acrobat took a hit earlier, and now he's going to transition towards the Dancer bosses. The Dancer has nicely put some slow boxes down for the Acrobat, and then he's going to ball to put down to create more space. The Dancer is unafraid here to put down boxes in the clerk's face because she knows that if she gets chased, it would be an entirely new chase that the clerk has to restart. So it's not really advantageous for the clerk to hit the Dancer in this case, which is why the Dancer is playing so aggressively here. Since the clerk isn't breaking any boxes, the Dancer is free to just keep moving and rearranging the boxes as she pleases, which is a bit to the detriment to the hunter. But as you can see, when they break the boxes, the survivors are free to transition, which is what they're really doing here.
The Dancer for the Acro is now gonna head up the stairs, and Rabbit is now just gonna destroy all of the boxes. Yeah, now the Dancer has no more items, but that does mean that she can open up a chest and potentially get something, whether it be a pocket watch, a perfume, something hopefully usable.
For a Prospector, his support's fairly simple. You kind of just want to throw a magnet on the hunter and then pull into an obstacle. You typically want to do this after a rescue. Make sure that you're somewhere safe. You can do this during a kite, but the teammate here, the Prospector, is stunning off of these items here, trying to buy enough time for the Priestess, and she's probably dead on chair, and he's just affording extra time for the survivor to get away. And then this is what I mean by you want to make sure that you're safe. The Ripper, there's no counterplay to this, so it's perfectly fine for the Prospector to keep doing this. And then here as well, this is a little bit risky. Apparently the rescue animation can cancel the Prospector push, but the more you know. And then here we have another support clip from the Prospector's end, where the Prospector is going to come in, and this is just I purposely put this clip in just to show that the stuns for the support don't have to be that big. You're going to see a couple of short stuns like this one, which is just enough for the Psychologist to keep moving around. And Clerk, with her speed against a Psych who has no items to kite with, she probably would have been dead by now. But with this Prospector support, she's able to make it from graveyard all the way to top broken and actually get back to graveyard because of the Prospector support. So if you have a couple of magnets, like the Prospector here uses all 3, that can really give a lot of distance and time for your teammates who are decoding. Now it's it is important to realize that you really only want to take hits though, if someone else is decoding, or you're not dead on chair and the other person is. You don't really want to be doing this too frequently, because if everyone's injured, then no one can rescue. Right, so the next character is going to be Postman. Postman has two forms of assisting, a more aggressive and a more passive version. So this one's going to be more the aggressive version, where I'm throwing my dog at the hunter while someone else is kiting. It might not seem much, and it really isn't. However, it gives this cord enough time to transition safely to the pouch over here and to continue to create that space.
ポーチからまだまだ粘れるかなと思ってたと思うんですけども、ただこれは大きい。
フライホイールで同居を避けようとしましたが、ここは昆虫学者がダウンを取られました。残りは 97% まで真綿暗号機の近くでのダウン。ポストマンが犬を構えて当たらずと。
当たらせた瞬間救助からの通電でもいいですからね。
はい。さあその間にオフェンス、そしてポストマンが追われていて、オフェンスのみがまずは。
Here we have the more passive version of Postman, where he has we see what his letters can do for you. That was the Tranquility, the Hope letter. I think that we're going to see what is that? A movement speed letter, where you move the speed, where the movement speed is increased by 10% for 15 seconds. And he can freely send these to anyone as long as they are not incapacitated or on a chair. So this is how Postman's global support can really benefit a team. When you have Dungeon Letter or Farewell Lover, especially with the persona traits now, where knee-jerk is no longer a thing, his letters can really help other teammates who maybe have Flywheel or bring Tide. He can give letters to them, and now they have broken windows or knee-jerk reflex. This is more so just referring to the more aggressive gameplay, that his dog actually extends way further than the marker says. And that when you miss your dog, the cooldown is shortened. So if someone else is first chase, you are not at a disadvantage for using the dog, because you will get the dog back faster. Here we just have a brief clip of where the postman is giving a decoding letter to the patient so he can decode faster. Okay, Toy Merchant support is actually very similar to Priestess. You basically put down your item, and then any survivor can take them, and they will be launched a certain amount of distance. It's also beneficial that she can launch survivors up elevation, and you can use that on elevated maps like the ones we've been showing. If you'd like, you can obviously pause the video and try to learn the spots, but that's basically it.
に対して強く動きたい。フライホイール通らず。これは痛い。唯一攻撃をかわす手段であったフライホイール通らずです。ため攻撃という部分がありまして、うまいこと通すことができませんでした。ただおもちゃ職人のサポートを受けて距離を取ることはできています。
是的，这边而且报道一下，有机会吗？
能不能扛到这一刀？
哎呦，没有吃到雕像，不知道。
还有4分之一的球。
捏到最后，终于是派上了用场。是的，而且上了2楼，这边不好放雕像了，而手上没有什么雕像了。找地奇还在卡位，我的天，前面这个能跳，跳下去了，玩具上也到了，哇，跳起来了，直接飞天，什么情况啊？这个配合又有动，然后动又有了，哇！不行了，不行了，不行了！
现在还能2个求生者一起卡楼梯口，你根本就
想传，但是已经是直接亮，
直接开了。
那另外一个门已经在点了，
对，小迪手上一个洞，
而他是没有封门的，就是没有幽闭恐惧的。那这里的话，甚至我觉得有一个4出的可能啊。
是的。
哎，传送，但是门开了，弹一下，那文商直接跳走。哇！全都跳走，
都没有了。
这个画面也太搞笑了。
我突然看到3个求生者怎么都在天上，
来回蹦，这就是玩具上这个角色他很强的一个地方，就是你的跳板大家可以共享。这样的话，这个冲下来没有人拿到节奏，而且那边的门是开了的，脸上想。
Here we have cord support. Cord support is very straightforward. The kiter, whoever it is, will run towards the coordinator, and the coordinator will then shoot her flare gun, and then in doing so, the person will then be able to transition for free. So the postman is going to run to the cord, as I just said, and then cord can shoot. The hunter is a bot and blinked. However, that doesn't matter. because now I'm able to go to corner house and I can just kite now in a safe area where I otherwise would have been hit. And then now my kite can extend even further.
一个跳闪 A 真的是太恐怖了。
对，因为我透视到你的视野的，
是的。
你往这边拉，我一跳，我就可以闪现。
主要是猫被咬到的话，跟插眼的效果其实。
对，而且这波野人先救，那就不好救。
哎，先拉猫完了，
哎呦，
差一点点，
差一点点。
这是什么？打
这空军下打配合，
打在椅子上，
打了椅子上，这不是抽一刀吗？打一刀，扯下来。
这个枪
要开，他得开，
得开。
对，
他得保住机械师，
但是炸猫炸慢了。
对，慢了一点点，不然这枪开不出来的。
对的。
不过结实进大房子，如果他能躲一只猫，就能完成任务，躲一只就够了。
虽然说求生者这边密码修的慢了，但是能让卡梦的结实多拉一点距离。
是的，
又咬到了，
踩晕吗？踩晕了，但是距离射得远。
但是前面还有一只猫。
For batter support, you really have to be careful about him because his support can be a little bit situational, we'll call it. Basically, he has the ability to push the hunter away and also harass. In this early clip, we're going to show the batter harassing, which is a form of support on technicality because it does buy your teammates time to decode. And you're going to see that the batter pushes, and then he's going to break the ball. And it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine that he doesn't do a balloon rescue because he still isn't chaired. He hasn't chaired the forward yet, so this is perfectly fine from the batters. Here, I rescue, and then the batter is going to push to give extra distance, and he waits after the attack recovery to give the maximum amount of distance. And then here we just took some gameplay from rank China Cowboy. He's going to just simply lasso this Seer here when he's close to being hit, as you just saw, and he's just going to continue these actions for as long as he can. He lassos him right there, and Seer has to use an owl, but this is still beneficial for the team as the person is not dying, so this is still great harassment from the Cowboy. Here we have Merc item play. You can check on the right side of the Merc's inventory that he's juggling an illusion stick and elbow pads. He's going to leave the elbow pads at the top of the stairs, and then he has the illusion stick now. Now the reason why this is allowed is because most hunters typically won't chase a Merc, so he's free to just take any item he gets. It can be a syringe, it can be, I don't know, a football, it doesn't really matter. Perfume even. So as long as he just gets the elbow pads to the survivor who needs them, like the patient here who was first kite, that's all that matters, because as you can see, the hunter did not chase the Merc, and you can do this at any point in the game as well. Now the reason why I specifically listed this under Merc is that unlike say a coordinator or a first officer, who you can also do item plays with, it's more beneficial that the Merc does it, since elbow pads are actually guaranteed. And here you can see that the Merc left the elbow pads at the entrance of hospital, and that's why that dancer hugged the wall there. She's going to use another elbow pad here as well. It is important to note that whatever number Merc has in his inventory for elbow pad, it will -1 automatically when the new survivor picks them up. So if the Merc has 2 elbow pads, then he'll only give 1 to the survivor on chair. If he has 3, then the survivor on chair will only get 2. But for some reason, if he has 1 elbow pad and juggles that and gives it to someone, then they'll only get 1. I don't know why, but that's how the game works.
これ4人逃げなんかも十分に狙っていける動きができてます GG。
このタイミングで4人2でハッチは開きにあります。
これちょっと怖いですね。猫をかわすために肘当て1つ、ハッチに寄るために肘当て1つ、それで十分に成し遂げてしまいそうですよ4人。ただ、
1人が近く、
はい、いやー強い肘当て。
猫の威嚇はできている。
Right, so Wildling. There is a stigma behind Wildling being a terrible character, however, that is not entirely the case. As you can see, I'm playing Thief because I'm just special that way. However, I'm gonna make my way towards my teammate, the Wildling, who in this scenario is going to be waiting around the corner. And then as the clerk gets near, the Wildling has to just wait and then push. And then this recording that the clerk put on me is basically wasted, as I now have a lot of distance.
对，
发现自己躲在那边，然后立马就转头了。
对，这时候板子还被压了。
这边的话想要打野人打一波配合，这个踩板
拱，
哎呦，
踩就拱，
但是意识到了，
他不敢踩，如果踩了就会被拱，
踩板就会被推好远啊。
是的，说先要咬，但是先要咬到这里，
前面还有9人
一样的，拱到了，那这一波猫可能飞掉
来，
但是现在就展示，哎呀，我天哪，
皮皮虾这一波操作行云流水。
是的，那
这里一直包拉回来，你根本赚不了。
对，那这样子。
Right. Now, I'm not an Embalmer main, and in no way have I ever played Embalmer. However, I have been looking forward to commenting over this character for a while. Because a lot of people don't know how to play Embalmer. The community behind him don't know how to play Embalmer, which is a sad thing. But my coffin is down over at Graveyard, and the Antiquarian ran past me. Now, me as an Embalmer, I know that she might die soon, so now I'm going to relocate as I have her appearance, and now I'm going to embalm her. I'm going to embalm her right now, and then I'm going to embalm her. She's died far away from the coffin, so now when I choose to rebirth her, the hunter is going to be long, like way far away, even though the hunter is a Wuching in this case. Substitute that with like a sculptor or a bonbon. This is perfect. She's on literally on the opposite corner of the Wuchang. The Wuchang can't do anything about that, and now I can take the kite for this Antiquarian, and this is now essentially a restarted chase for the Wuchang, which hurts him in the long run. Right, so the context for this is that the hunter was chasing the Embalmer first, and then the Embalmer went inside 2-story to the Seer cipher, which then forces the wax artist to chase the Seer now and restart the chase, which in the long run benefits the survivors. Now, in doing so, since the Embalmer came to the Seer, the Embalmer now has the Seer's appearance. So now the Seer, all he has to do, since trait was already used, as you can see it's already on cooldown, is simply die away from this location. So he's going to vault this window, and then he's just going to make his way over away from the Embalmer, who has just embalmed him. Now, the wax artist, unfortunately, chairs him even further away from the coffin, which is at Godkai. He's going to chair him at Cypher Bridge. The forward is going to instant rescue. I'm not entirely sure why that is. However, the Seer is now going to just simply, that happened. He's going to simply rotate all the way to 4-stop. Okay. Now, trait has once again already been used. Even if it's a blink or teleport, it doesn't matter. Now, since he's as far away as he possibly can from his coffin, he's gonna wait for the Seer, for the hunter to chair him. The hunter, for some reason, brings him even further away from his coffin, and now he's going to chair. And now the Embalmer is going to embalm him. Now, this hunter, wax artist, bonbon, sculptor, slow-moving hunters have to now re-rotate back to this area. That's going to take a lot of time away from the hunter, and oftentimes they will be forced to chase a new survivor, which is what's happening now. The hunter knows that it will take him much too long, so rather than continue this chase, maybe I'm wrong, rather than continue this chase, he's choosing to consider chasing after the forward. The forward's going to tell the Seer whether or not he's committing to him. The Seer's going to vault. The Embalmer is telling him what to do. As you can see, the Embalmer is there, telling him where the hunter's at, and now we're going to go on to the next clip. The Seer ultimately ends up getting away, and it looks like we have the patient here who's on chair. This was a very chaotic match. I do recommend watching this match. I think it'd be very exciting for some of you. But as you know, the Embalmer was chaired once, so he has an extra coffin. So all he has to do is embalm someone at the gate. The person embalmed is the patient. So they just have to pop the cipher, even though the Seer's force healing, they pop the cipher and the Seer dies. Now you might be saying, well, 2 people are now in basement. However, that's not the case. The Embalmer has just embalmed the patient. The patient is now all the way at 1-stop gate, and the hunter switched to patroller. So what would have been a 3-man for the hunter is now a draw. Next character for support is Novelist. Personally, I don't really see how he's a strong survivor for support, so I will recommend you to not prioritize doing this. I really wouldn't prioritize this, but apparently it's some Chinese players are using Novelist as a harasser to afford extra time for the kiter. Now, I mean, I suppose you can do this if you are like if someone else is dead on chair, the ciphers are like 1 or 2 remaining, and it's okay for someone to be off a cipher. But if you're a novelist, I really don't recommend like playing like this, because your character's kit overall is just not that strong for harassment, especially since his ability takes longer to gain over time. So if the hunter switches to you, then now you don't have anything to kite with, but it works, I guess. Next is Painter. Painter's kit also is not that strong for self-sufficient kiting, since he only has 2 paintings after his nerf. So just don't make this priority unless it's like close to endgame. But basically you want to put a painting down in a narrow way where the hunter is forced to look at it. A better example would be the painting behind a thrown down pallet that the hunter has to break, or a window that the hunter has to vault. That way the hunter's camera will be locked facing the painting direction, and the hunter will 100% get stopped. We just wanted to throw this one in there. It's basically the patient and psych poll. Very situational, since you need 2 characters to pull this in, but you can pull the psych to get extra distance, which can be very useful. Alright, that's gonna conclude the support video that GSL has made. We hope that you found this very informative and helpful. The main goal is to educate people who are trying to take rank a bit more seriously, or want to just, are wondering why they might not be kiting as long, or why they might not be winning as often. We hope that this guide can help you do that, improve your win rate, improve your character win rate, and hopefully you get badges for the characters that you love to play. We do know that some characters weren't included. We may try to make an updated guide in the future, but we'll have to figure out just how that's going to work, since the meta is always changing. Please try to stay up to date on the meta as well. And we hope that this helps you guys. Good luck in your ranking, and if you liked this video, please give it a share, give it a like, leave some comments in the comment section, leave us questions. We'll do our best to answer those promptly. Alright, thank you guys. Have a good day, night, and just be well.